edPuzzle is a tool that allows me to take any video that's out on the web or that I own, upload it into the edPuzzle account, and then embed different stop points where I can invite the learners to be able to answer multiple choice questions, respond to a poll, do something to stop and ask them to be active viewers. So for instance, you can see this preventative measures video that's been uploaded into somebody's edPuzzle account, and we go ahead and start playing that.
Means of transmission is not yet full.
And then you'll see along the bottom here, each one of these little stop touch points is a question or some active viewing expectation for the viewer. So let's watch that.
Transmission from infected animals.
So now the edPuzzle owner has created this and stopped the viewing and asked this multiple choice question. You'll notice that anybody who is watching this video gets a chance to rewatch if they want to be able to go back and view that so that they have a better possibility of answering this question correctly. They can go ahead and skip that and they can keep going forward. And anybody who creates an edPuzzle can skip the skipping section. If you actually really don't want people to be able to skip, you can set that up from behind the scenes. So first of all, if you don't have an account, you're going to want to go ahead and sign up for one. I'm going to go ahead and log in because I already do have an account. And you'll see that it brings me right to my home area in edPuzzle. What's great about edPuzzle, lots of really great things, but I have my own content. So these are all the videos that I've either taken from YouTube or other areas, uploaded and then added some of those interactive touch points. I can also go out to edPuzzle down here in the menu bar and I can search for any videos that might have already been updated from folks. Oops, I can't spell that. So for instance, here's this one here that I can see contains 6 questions already. And if it turns out it's something that I like or I'm interested in, but I want to edit it for myself, I have this option over here to come over to edit it. I can copy it and then make changes for my own context, and then I can assign it to my own classes. So there's a whole library here in edPuzzle of people who have already mocked up different videos, then are sharing those with you so that you can take them and change them for your own context. You'll also notice under the popular channels, there are all kinds of ways to search for videos that are already out there in the public domain that you can go ahead and bring in here to mock up. So I'll show you how I do that if I'm in my content and I want to go ahead and add content from a video that I found out on the web. So this is a YouTube video. I'm going to grab the link to share it, and then I'm going to put it in my edPuzzle account, add content. I am going to create a video, and I am going to pop that video link up there in the edPuzzle search bar. And here's that video that I found out on YouTube. And first of all, I can cut the video down to size by dragging and dropping down here if it's too long or I just want a section of that. I can voice over, so that means that any of the narration that's already on there I can take away and it can be my own voice. Or this is where you saw back where I showed you that example where I can embed questions wherever it happens to be. So I have the option of doing multiple choice questions like you saw. I can have open-ended questions that link out to other resources, or and I can show you how that works, or they can add a note to go ahead and do that. So let's see how that works.
In December 2019, the Chinese authorities notified the world that a virus was spreading through their communities.
If at this point in the video I want to add an open-ended question, I just click on that, and now I've got my little editor box here, so I can ask a question. When did you first hear? And because it's a rich text editor, I can add images, I can add a link out to this. So if there's anything that I actually want to be able to give students as a way to do a little more exploration into that, again, it's coming from the content of the video, but I might be able to link them out to something we've already studied in the past to remind them about that. So I save that. And then I'm going to let the video continue to play.
In the following months, it spread to other countries, with cases doubling within days.
And multiple choice question. How much did it increase in days? And so because this is multiple choice, it might be, doubled, tripled. and I can add more choices as I go. This green box says that that's going to be the one that is obviously the correct answer, but what's also really neat about edPuzzle is that I can add feedback to that. So what's happening then is that if the student answered that question correctly, the feedback could be something like congrats, or it could be remember when we discussed this, or want to know more, and I could link out again with that link button there so they could extend their thinking. So again, this is the answer, but then there's this feedback loop, and I could do the same thing for when the answer was incorrect. So I could add that feedback like nice try, check this out, and again link out to something, or I could send them back to the certain point in the video to be able to watch that so that they can get the correct answer. And then I save. The video keeps playing, and again you at this point can see how I can then add a note to this. Again, this could be an audio note so that the students can listen to me to remind them of something or ask them to think differently about something before they go forward. So all of these 3 question types are already preloaded in here, and there's like almost unlimited things that I can go ahead and do. I'm going to cancel that one, and I'm going to finish this so that you can see what happens here. So now I've added an open-ended question, a multiple choice question. I can edit this at any point, and then I can go and assign it to one of my classes. So we'll see how that works here. I've got a couple of classes, and so I'm going to add it to that one, give it a due date, or skip the due date. Don't need to have that here. This is where there's this opportunity to prevent the skipping. So if I really want students to answer before they go forward in the video, I'm going to turn that on. And then the captions can be turned on here too as well. So I assign that to the class, and then I know that that class is ready to know that this is the expectation for the class. So let's go back into edPuzzle here just to remind you that I'm here in my home. I have my content of the videos that I've edited and added resources to, but I can also go out and search the edPuzzle library for all kinds of different videos that people have already gone ahead and added those. If it is something of interest to me that I'd like to then use, again, I can always grab that and put that in my own content area, edit and assign to classes. So let's look at classes so that we can see what happens when students have come in and answered questions and what the teacher gets to see in response to that. So if you see it, here's the 5 key components for assessment, and I'm going to click on one of the students here, and I get a chance to see lots of information about what she ended up doing. So I get some overview of information here that she watched 100% of the video, and that she had 7 out of 8 correct responses. Here are the answers, and what I can do is go ahead and comment, and I can give a check as to whether she's got those correct or not. There's the question itself, her response, again the question response, and that's how I get a chance to go through and give feedback like that too. Again, I can just give the point value and or I can comment. So that's basically how edPuzzle works, and it is one of those tools that, given that we're in a remote environment and we need to be able to give feedback pretty quickly in a formative way, and we're also asking students to consume information in multiple ways, not always text-based, but what does it mean when you ask them to engage in video watching and then give you responses so that you have a formative checkpoint to see how they're doing? edPuzzle comes in really handy in that way. Good luck out there.